No, we're doing something we don't normally do very often, and that's make a dessert. I've seen some other people like cooking for kids during this time at home, and it's all desserts and sprinkles and sugar, and I just know that sugar depresses the immune system, and that's not what we're really into right now or anytime. However, sometimes it is fun to have a treat, yeah? And we're going to use as our sweetener honey, which is a better sweetener. It's still a sweetener. And also, just to show you how flexible this recipe can be, also sucanat, which is sugar, but it's less refined. Okay, so what are we making today, Leah?
We are making black bean brownies.
With aprons. So why don't you start measuring the black beans? We cooked these in our Instant Pot. Can you use canned? Why, yes, you can. One recipe is an 8x8 square, like so. We have 6 people in our family, so we're making a double, 9x13. So we need the equivalent of 2 cans, or it's about 1 3/4 cup beans per can. Did you lose count? Yeah, I know. So we keep going.
So
We're doubling it. So
2.5.
Leah's measuring 2 full cups, and then she's just eyeing up that 3/4 cup using a 1 cup measuring with just like a little, like a layer less. It would be 3.5. It would be 3.5. But it's okay. Fraction time, right? With 3/4 plus 3/4 is 1.5. Plus the 1 and the 1 is 3.5. It's hard to do the math all the time. Usually, like if I'm making soup, I do 2 cups equals a can. But for this recipe, because again, we're baking, it needs to be a little bit more accurate. Now, these are black bean brownies, so the next ingredient is going to be cocoa powder or cacao powder. And that's a 1/4 cup for 1 recipe, a 1/2 cup for 2 recipes. Very important for brownies. You can make basically the same recipe, except not the cocoa powder, to make blondies. You know, blondies are like the white brownies. Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. A little extra cocoa powder never hurt anything. You can use white beans and just a little extra vanilla and no cocoa powder and make the blondies. So now we need, go ahead.
Coconut oil. Melted coconut oil.
Ooh, stuck to our hot pan. So we melted extra virgin coconut oil. That's the coconut oil that smells and tastes like coconuts. Did we wash our hands very well first before we came in here, Leah? Yeah. So this is warm. It's not too hot, but it's pretty hot. So one risk, whenever you use like melted coconut oil, if you put something really cold in there with it, sometimes it makes it go back to solid. So that's, you never want to do that. So you're doing eggs next? All right.
So it's 6 eggs for double, so it's 3 eggs for 1.
Mm-hmm. And Leah and I were just talking. Leah's little brother Gabe was allergic to eggs for the first 2.5 years of his life. He grew out of that, which was great. But we did learn to make a lot of things egg-free. And I looked at our recipe in this recipe's from my ebook over at Kitchen Stewardship, the Everything Beans book. So it's all beans. This is the only dessert in the book. And I was like, oh, we didn't write down if we made it with the flax egg substitute. I was so bummed. But I feel like I remember doing it. So with some hesitation, we would say if you don't have eggs or if you have an egg allergy, the flax eggs do work. I did write down that a gelatin-based egg substitute did not work at all. I remember that one. It kind of turned into a science experiment. It was not very brownie-ish. So eggs are important for that cakey feel. Right. A little gooey. Woo! So the order is completely not important. Everything just kind of goes in, except it's a little trick. If you ever have fat to measure and then honey, put the fat in first because that totally greased up. Oh man! I looked away. See, it slides right out. That totally greased up our measuring cup and it slides right out all over the counter. Is it messy cooking with kids? Yeah. Is it messy cooking with Mrs. Kimball? Always. What's next, Leah?
Well, we're doing half and half. 1/2 cup honey and 1/2 cup sucanat because we're doubling the batch. And so
And it's actually 3/4 cup sucanat. I was just gonna use that, but that's okay. Because honey is sweeter than sugar, actually. So when you substitute, if you're like making a recipe and you said, oh, I learned that honey's more healthy than sugar, I'm gonna use honey instead of sugar, you actually need less honey than sugar. So we'll use 3/4 cup sucanat. Sucanat is unrefined cane sugar, so it's basically white sugar before it's made white. Oh yeah, you're eyeing it up. That's perfect. That's beautiful. Just kind of scrape that out. So it has all the kind of molasses and stuff there. So it's I don't even know how to say healthier. It's a little bit less bad for you than white sugar. So these are a treat. They have so many good things going for them. Sometimes we serve them for breakfast. I don't think you're quite there yet though, because we've got vanilla. Mm-hmm.
So we need
Oh, sorry.
2 teaspoons of vanilla for doubling our batch.
You're gonna make me do the messiest part, huh? Tell me what I'm doing over here.
She's greasing the pan with just some of our coconut oil. She's gonna get her hand all in there.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, no. It's easier to choose hand. If you don't have any dairy sensitivities in your family, my favorite way to grease a pan is just to open a stick of butter, hold the wrapper part, and mash the stick of butter all around into the edges. But we do have a dairy sensitivity in our family, so we'll just stick with the coconut oil. If you don't have the coconut oil that smells like coconuts, that's okay. You can use the other. I just think it is a little bit, it's a bit of a coconut chocolate brownie. You can taste it coming through, but I think that adds a nice little sweetness and layer of flavor.
I don't tell.
So if you only have white sugar, you can use white sugar. It's 3/4 cup for a batch. Did you do the pinch of salt?
Yep.
Pinch of salt.
And it says if you're using home cooked beans, use a pinch of salt. If you're not using home cooked beans, if you're using canned beans, don't use a pinch of salt.
Because sometimes they're salted. One tip is this doesn't really work with frozen beans. Almost any recipe you can freeze beans and reuse them again, but the brownies get a little chalky. I don't know why. So don't freeze the beans first.
And we're not adding the chocolate chips right now. We're going to blend it up in here, and then we'll add the chocolate. It's called folding them in with the spatula. So it's going to be a little loud.
Yep.
So we're looking for it to become a uniform mixture.
Right.
Scrape it around, and I'm seeing a little chunks, probably black beans, and that would not be good enough brown.
Yes, I agree. You want this very, very smooth. And that's a nice kind of scraping around motion for the round bowl of the food processor. There's a little bit of goodness up here in the lid. Did it get stuck on the pointy tip? Just got to pull it the other way, then pull it out the opposite way that you got it in. Yep. So we have a very large food processor. I believe this is a 14 cup. Many food processors are 7 cups or 9 cups. I would not recommend a double batch if you have a 7 cup, right? You can see how this is more than, a little bit more than half. Oh, sorry. Totally handed that to her backwards. I'm just seeing if you're paying attention, Leah. It's gonna get loud again. Here we go. Oh, you gotta watch me get this. Let's do a close-up. That'll be fun. Here we go. Oh boy, always risky to do a close-up on a live video. How we doing there? Did we get it smooth?
It looks pretty smooth.
So again, really important to be smooth because black bean brownies, totally, no one has ever guessed, ever, when I take these to like parties or wrestling meets or whatever, no one's ever guessed the secret ingredient unless they like kind of already know. But like a bean in the middle, that would
give it away.
That would kind of be a dead giveaway, so you want to be really careful. Are we good?
Take out the blade.
Yeah. I'm going to scrape it over here.
Okay, am I going to fold my chocolate chips in there?
Oh, let's just pour them on the top. It'll be easier. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm going to scrape it.
I will scrape it. Thanks for giving me a job, Leah. It's kind of like, at this point with Leah and I, it's kind of like I'm the kid. I get given a couple jobs here and there. All right, I'm not going to scrape this perfectly because I think you're going to want to lick that off. I almost hit the salt with a drip. Yay. So the pan is greased. Again, this is a 9x13 pan. One single recipe that will be in a minute in the comments below is an 8x8. So about 16 2-inch squares is a single recipe. You know, bigger squares, less of them. Leah's doing a great job getting it in there. We are going to bake this in a preheated oven to 350, and it calls for 30 to 40 minutes. If you're using all honey, go with 30 because honey browns faster than sugar. If you're using sugar as sucanat, go with 40. We use half and half, so I guess we'll do 35. Also, I mean, we have a double batch, so sometimes that takes about 5 minutes longer. They bake up pretty much like normal brownies, so you can do the toothpick test in the middle, and you can kind of tap it with your finger, and if it bounces back spongy instead of sinking in and leaving a dent, you know it's done.
I'll take a toothpick and it's doughy.
Yeah, the toothpick test, you can tell it would come out like a batter. Remember, this is a batter, not a dough, right? Batter's pourable, dough is like Play-Doh, is workable. So we'll just spread this out, and then we're going to add the chocolate chips on top. You can also add walnuts. Leah's brother Gabe would love the walnuts. Our grandma says it's not even a brownie if you don't have walnuts.
I like walnuts. I just think I love them plain, like on salads, but just on a brownie, I don't.
Not your thing. That's okay. That's okay. So you can't, if you're adding the walnuts and the chocolate chips, you would just kind of, I just like to pour them in on top personally, because I think it's hard to stir in a food processor. Don't you? How much are we supposed to put on there? A half cup. So
1 cup.
right, half cup for a single batch. So I'm going to eye up about 1/4 cup handfuls. Is that okay with you? So I'm making sure that they get really well situated. And again, we did wash our hands. Kirkland chocolate chips, at least for now, are dairy-free, which is a very pleasant surprise. It's hard to find, it can be hard to find chocolate that's dairy-free, huh, Leah? Super frustrating, right? In case you didn't guess, Leah's our dairy allergy. And so then you can just kind of use the spatula and just like gently tap them in. If they're right on top, sometimes they get a little like over crisp, like a little, not really burned, but kind of burned, kind of singed on the top. So it's better to sink them down in a little bit. And that's it, yeah? That's all we need to know? Do you have any other ingredient notes? I don't think so. What? Oh yeah, you can, I forgot to say, you can use butter instead of coconut oil if you don't have that. You could probably use any oil, to be honest. I just have only tried it with butter or coconut oil. Oh, you hit the top. I got that off because it's going to be easier to get off while it's batter instead of when it's baked on. We'll come back to the Facebook page with either a photo or a quick video at the end. Sound good? But since this is live, I don't think you want to wait 30 to 40 minutes while we sit around and eat dinner, right? So we should be done. I'm going to clean this off a little bit.
So good.
Too. It smells so good. Are you going to eat it?
I love these brownies.
No? Not on camera? Okay. I'll turn the camera off. I'm Mrs. Kimball. This is Leah. She's 11. We are here every day on Facebook, at least for the next couple weeks. We got our chart on the wall with everything planned out to show you simple, flexible, mostly pantry and freezer-based recipes while you are at home. And our mission is to get kids in the kitchen, families cooking together, making amazing memories, making healthy food, and honestly figuring out that it's really not that hard when it comes down to it. These are really difficult to mess up unless you use gelatin eggs. They were edible. Do you remember those?
Did they taste bad?
They did not taste bad. They looked weird though, and they were like chewy. They didn't rise. It was very strange. The gelatin eggs didn't work. All right, that's it. We're out. We will see you tomorrow with what? What are we doing tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow we're doing power balls. They're like a layer of bars, so it's like nuts and dried fruit, and we have a nut-free version. We have like 15 different flavors.
Peanut butter and jelly version, that's my
Is that the one we're doing?
favorite.
I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. We'll make one or two.
We're doing one kind on camera and other kinds after.
Got it. So we will be here live tomorrow making that video of power balls. Fruit and nut, easy, grabbable snack. Yeah, let's do it. See you later.